Welcome back to my views and news. Some new stories for you from Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Sudan. Firstly, Eritrea, viewers, where we know that Eritrean Orthodox Church split in 2006 when the patriarch Abune Antonius was deposed by Eritrean government, and diaspora churches split into two groups, one affiliated with Abune Antonius and the other with Eritrean Orthodox Synod. Now, we have a new story for you from Australia, where a sub-diocese is being established in Australia, New Zealand. A sub-diocese is being established by Eritrean Orthodox Church group, not affiliated with the main church based in Eritrea. And Abune, a bishop, arrived in New Zealand a week ago, and he arrived in Brisbane. After that, consultations are underway. It's a new development about the Eritrean Orthodox Church in Australia, New Zealand. Secondly, viewers, today some US diplomats are going to visit Raya, southern Tigray, Alamata. And before their visit, protests have started in Alamata. People are on the streets of Alamata protesting. What are they saying? What is the message from these protesters from Alamata? Thirdly, I have two corrections or updates for you. Getachew SFR is from UMD Media. Tigrayans know what UMD Media is. It shares reports about Tigray, about Ethiopia. Getachew SFR contacted me about a new story which I spoke on a few days ago. I want to share his input with you. An update or a correction about a letter. And lastly, Sudan, viewers, what is the general picture in Sudan? Ceasefire collapsed in the last few hours when strikes were conducted by Sudanese Air Force in Khartoum. What is the overall situation in Khartoum, Bari, Umidurman? Which side has momentum and military leverage? Firstly, Eritrea, viewers. Eritrean Orthodox Patriarch Abune Antonius was deposed by Eritrean government in 2006, and I think then he was put under house arrest. Until his death, around a year ago, more than a year ago, he remained under house arrest or in prison. He was deposed, and there was no new patriarch elected. New patriarch was elected next year in 2007, Abune Dioscoros. Abune Dioscoros worked till 2015. He died, then the office remained unoccupied, and in May 2021, Abune Kerlos was elected as the patriarch. He worked till December 2020 when he passed away. Who is the incumbent now? Who is the Orthodox patriarch now? No one knows. When Abune Antonius was deposed in 2006, this decision was rejected by some diaspora groups. Diaspora churches split into two groups. One kept on supporting Abune Antonius, and the other showed their support for Abune Dioscoros. Still, the split is ongoing, but within the Orthodox splinter faction in diaspora, supportive of Abune Antonius, there were more than one groups. Two bishops were representing this splinter faction, Abune Menchorius and Abune Synoda. Both are based in the US. So the dissident faction, which calls itself Eritrean Orthodox Church, it was represented, or you can say it had two main bishops who were not united. Now they have united, and Eritrean opposition Orthodox churches are trying to organize themselves. A few days ago, if you remember, I did a video about the arrival of an archbishop from Eritrea in Australia. People protested. The archbishop affiliated with Eritrean government-backed Eritrean Orthodox Church. His visit was opposed by some Eritrean opposition churches in Australia, New Zealand. Now, a bishop from the US has arrived in Australia, Abune Synoda, one of two bishops who are organizing Eritrean opposition churches in diaspora. Abune Synoda is based in the US. He arrived in New Zealand for almost a week. He was there, and then he arrived in Brisbane, Australia. He visited the St. Mary Orthodox Church in Brisbane, and he is going to lead a conference on the 2nd of July about establishment of a sub-diocese of Australia and New Zealand. So Australian and New Zealand churches are trying to organize themselves, centralize themselves under one authority, under one sub-diocese. All these churches are opposition churches. Yes, there are pro-government churches too, affiliated with Eritrean government-backed Orthodox Church. It's a new development because the opposition churches in Australia, New Zealand, they were struggling separately. Now they're organizing under Abune Synoda, Abune Menchorius. That is why Abune Synoda is in Brisbane. He will attend several religious programs in Brisbane, including annual pilgrimage at St. Mary Orthodox Church, and he'll approve appointments of new deacons and priests too. Let's see who will head the new sub-diocese. Will it be established? We'll try to give you updates in coming days after the conference is held in Brisbane, reportedly on the 2nd of July. I have a clip for you from Brisbane, Australia, when Abune Synoda arrived there, warmly welcomed by Eritrean opposition churches, Orthodox followers and Orthodox priests. With the clip, then next news story. Secondly, our second news story is from Alamata. southern Tigray, disputed territory between Tigray and Amhara regions. Three zones are disputed. Both regions have the claims: Raya, southern Tigray, western Tigray, Volkayat, Umra Sagade, and Salamti on Tigray-Eritrea border. Uh, I think this week a petition was submitted to Ethiopian House of Federation by locals of southern Tigray, locals of Raya, or by residents of the Amhara region. Some say those who signed the petition, they are from the Amhara region. Not all of them are from Raya, but with 150,000 signatures, a petition was submitted to House of Federation, and the petition is asking House of Federation to announce that Raya zone is part of the Amhara region, and Raya zone's budget should be incorporated into Amhara region's budget. So identity of this zone should be determined, a referendum should be held. That is what was pleaded by those who signed the petition. The petition is pending with the House of Federation. House of Federation is led by an Amhara politician who is former president of the Amhara region, again Shagar. He served as Amhara region's president. Then he was elected as the Speaker of House of Federation. So he'll make a decision about the petition. Will he send it to the National Election Board of Ethiopia to make preparation for a referendum, or will he keep it pending? That remains to be seen. But this is a new development, that in Raya, a referendum is being proposed by Amhara regional government. Tigray is silent. I have not heard a word from Tigray officially. Does Tigray support holding of referendum in Raya? I did a video on that in detail. Now, today, some American diplomats are expected to visit Alamata, Raya, southern Tigray. And before that, protests are being held in Alamata. People are out on the streets. Hundreds can be seen chanting slogans as expected, saying, "We are Amhara. Our identity question must be answered. Budget should be released. This zone is part of the Amhara region." This zone is under Amhara government control. The interim mayor in Alamata is from the Amhara region. He is backing of Amhara regional government. Ethiopian National Defense Force is in Raya, but Amhara regional government is the one which is mainly in charge of Raya, like it's in charge of western Tigray, Volkayat, Humera, Sagade. So it is definitely a protest backed by Amhara regional government, which is sending a message to American diplomats that this area, this zone is not part of Tigray, it's part of Amhara. It was annexed by Tigray. Tigray obviously rejects this position of the Amhara region. It says that Raya, Volkayat, southern western parts have always been part of Tigray. Both zones have historical evidence as well to prove that these areas were part of Amhara or Tigray. Some discussions have been held between Tigray and Amhara leaders to resolve the issue in the past 2 weeks reportedly. Meetings have been held, meetings focused mainly on return of IDPs. That IDPs should return because from both zones, tens of thousands were displaced. Ethnic cleansing was committed, US State Department said, in Volkayat, from where tens of thousands of Tigrayans were expelled towards Tigray. Not this much ethnic cleansing in Raya, but people from Raya have been displaced too. Referendum cannot be held until people return to their homes. So definitely a message from Amhara government for US diplomats, because US has been calling for the withdrawal of all forces from Tigray, return of IDPs to their homes. Amhara region is sending a message that it's a party. US diplomats must be aware that these zones, Amhara region has claims to these zones, Raya and Volkait. Thirdly, viewers, two corrections for you. 2 days ago, I reported that Tsadkan, Tigray General Tsadkan's house had been raided by some forces in Tigray. His house was searched, his vehicle was searched, his driver was allegedly arrested by some forces in Tigray. It was being reported by some other sources too, mostly anti-TPLF sources. Getachew SFA contacted me. He is from UMD Media. Tigrayans know him. He said that he had contacted Tsadkan's family and Tsadkan's house had not been raided. It was a false news. He said that I should make corrections. That is why I am sharing what I heard from Getachew SFA. And I asked him that can I quote your name? He agreed. He said, yes, you should. So he is saying that Tsadkan's house was not raided based on his conversation with Tsadkan's family members. That is how I am reporting it. Secondly, 3 days ago, a letter was shared in social media, written by Abune Abraham, Ethiopian Orthodox Church General Manager. Letter was about request for nomination of some archbishops for the start of negotiations, countrywide negotiations to resolve a dispute with Tigray and Oromia splinter Orthodox factions. Orthodox Church is silent. It has not said a word so far about this letter. I have not seen any official statement from the Bahir-Dar diocese, of which Abune Abraham is the archbishop, or from Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But some sources who are affiliated or who are backed by the church, they say the letter is fake. We are waiting for official confirmation from Abune Abraham or Bahir-Dar diocese or Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But obviously, the church wants to resolve the issue. It has been trying to engage Tigray archbishops. They are not flexible. They are not showing willingness to be engaged with the main church. Issues with the Oromia diocese are unresolved. Most Oromia dioceses are not under the control of main church. Yes, discussions should be held and will be held, I think. Discussions will be held sooner or later. Lastly, viewers, Sudan, where ceasefire collapsed in the last few hours. 3-day ceasefire was agreed on Sunday at 6 a.m. Local time, Sunday. The ceasefire came into effect. It was agreed by the parties in Jeddah. I think it was 4th ceasefire agreed by parties in Jeddah. A 7-day ceasefire, then a 5-day ceasefire. 5-day ceasefire collapsed on day 2. Then a 24-hour ceasefire, which was fully implemented. Then this 3-day ceasefire, largely implemented, but in the last few hours, Sudanese Air Force conducted some strikes. Strikes were conducted where? In Khartoum, Sudanese capital, where headquarters of General Intelligence Service was bombarded. This headquarters of General Intelligence is under RSF control. It's not far away from Khartoum International Airport or Sudanese military command headquarters. It was bombarded. Several pictures, videos were shared showing large balls of fire rising from this building in Khartoum. So Strikes are not allowed. It's a clear violation of the 72-hour ceasefire. RSF issued a statement saying that Sudanese army had violated the ceasefire. Ceasefire was due to come to an end this morning, 6 a.m. Wednesday. But before that, it collapsed last night when Sudanese military General Command, General Intelligence Headquarters was bombarded by Sudanese Air Force. Now, what is overall situation in Khartoum, Bari, Darman? I think RSF has a leverage. If you analyze battlefield situation, battlefield developments, gradually rapid support forces are expanding. They are not losing any ground. If they lose, they regain. They are taking control of Sudanese army's bases one by one. They took control of air, defense headquarters, strategic core. They attacked Yarmouk military complex, several others too. They are now targeting armored core. They have been trying to take control of General Command headquarters too. They are trying to move towards Vasaid and a base too. Main sites, strategic sites are being targeted by rapid support forces, and one by one these sites are coming under the control of rapid support forces. Sudanese military has not been able to take back even one of these sites taken by rapid support forces. That is why I say that gradually rapid support forces are gaining momentum. Their supply routes intact. I have been regularly updating you about what is happening in Darfur. Their power base, Darfur, also gradually coming under their full control or partial control, because there are several other players in Darfur. Their presence in Kordofan too. Darfur, Kordofan, Khartoum link is intact. Their supply lines intact. Sudanese military knows it does not know what it is doing, because RSF fighters are skilled in urban combat. They know how to fight in cities, towns, and they have leverage. The strikes being conducted by Sudanese Air Force have limited results. Why? Because strikes in residential areas always have limited impact, and airstrikes can only work if the attacker has concrete information about the target. Sometimes concrete information is not available, and civilians are dying too. We have been reporting that in Khartoum, Bari, Darman, in several airstrikes, civilian deaths happened. Sudanese military is not accepting. So overall, we can say that Sudanese military has been unable to push RSF out of Khartoum, Bahri, parts of Darman too. Gradually, rapid support forces are expanding. Sudanese military is here. They are in control of General Command headquarters. But they have been unable to expand territories under their control. They tried to launch a major offensive after a 24-hour ceasefire came to an end a few days ago. They took control of eastern side of Al Muluk Bridge. Then they were repelled again. They could not take control of any other major sites. Overall, RSF have momentum on their side. They have leverage. Having said that, it does not mean that in a week or two they can take control of entire Khartoum, Bari, Madman. No. Fighting will go on until there is some sort of solution to end the conflict. Thank you for watching.